面板大厂群创友达的上游液晶材料商德国光电大厂默克大手笔在台湾设置亚洲第一座的研发中心，到底打的是什么算盘？面板景气真的好转了吗？来看到今天的关键对话。
鹦鹉身上七彩的颜色看得非常清楚，这一台就是 4K、2K 电视。面板技术越来越先进，靠的都是里头的材料。而我们今天非常荣幸可以邀请到液晶材料的全球大厂德国默克光电全球执行董事 Reckmann 来接受我们的访问。我们一起聊聊面板的新趋势。Hello, Reckmann. Nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you.
And we know that Merck has a sustained business over 300 years, but we are curious about how did you overcome the economic downfall with these customers recently?
We have started our activities as a company based on a pharmacy in 1668. And then one next important step was the start of industrial bulk production of pharmaceutical drugs in 1827. And this at this time was a tremendous improvement in quality, and it was a tremendous element of innovation. And these two pillars are still one of the sources of success for the Merck Group. It's innovation, it's quality, and self-explaining for a 350-year history, it's also sustainability. And with these key values, we also look at the running businesses today. So we invest in innovation, we invest in quality, and with this we help to overcome some weaknesses which some markets, some customers may have for some periods of time.
We know that you have established an R&D center in Taiwan recently, but we are curious about why did you choose Taiwan to invest?
We have chosen Taiwan deliberately because this has a good investment climate. We have a very talented, skilled and passionate workforce, and we have excellent relationships with our customers here who also believe in the passion of innovation. And with this new development lab, we can accelerate our services to our customer and help them to develop new potential areas in the display applications like the OLED, the organic light emitting diode technologies, like 3D displays, flexible displays, or LED lighting applications.
In the display market, Korea company like Samsung, they has grand technology in this field. But we are curious about that. You choose Taiwan to invest. So what strength of Taiwan do you see?
Taiwan has a very successful electronic device industry, from semiconductors, notebook, or mobile applications up to the displays. Our Taiwanese customers are amongst the largest manufacturers of displays, so there was a lot of strength. And they have good people, they are very innovative, and this is for us the right environment to do an investment in Taiwan, and we hope by increasing and improving our relation and cooperation with the new lab that we can help the Taiwanese customers to stay competitive in the global market.
So complete supply chain is the main point, right?
Yeah, so and to help to develop. So for example, if today they want to develop new technologies with new innovative materials, then they get, of course, good support from us out of the R&D centers in Europe or in the UK. But there is time difference, there's language difficulties, there are a lot of waste sometime of a direct communication. And our estimation together with our customer is that we can accelerate development times for new OLEDs, for example, by 1 year with this application lab, which gives the support directly at the same time and in a very responsive manner.
But we are also curious about that. Why did you choose this moment to invest?
Display market is obviously a volatile market, and it's very difficult to predict the next 2 quarters. And we, at the beginning of the value and supply chain, for us it's very difficult. But what we strongly believe is that displays have a brilliant future. And we see an ongoing technology development, we see an ongoing growth in the area of TVs, of displays, and we see completely new applications. So displays are part of our normal life.
So do you think the display market will recover this year, and how's the condition of the supply and demand? Will they be healthier?
We are relatively optimistic for this year that we don't see negative surprises, and on the mid and long term we expect 5% growth for the display market.
As you mentioned, like 4K, 2K, OLED, and even the flexible display. So how did you see the new technology trend in the future? Is there any other new technology we will see in the future?
It seems at this point of time that OLED becomes the most successful in adding or replacing part of today's LCD technology. But as you mentioned, we have the high resolution techniques, 4K, 2K. We have PSVA, which is the state-of-the-art, very energy-saving display technology. By the way, Taiwanese companies are the leaders in developing these technologies. Again, a reason why having this application lab in Taiwan. And OLED will definitely need another 3 years before you will see a significant penetration in the mass market. There is at this point of time not much else which replaces large screen displays.
Do you think the 4K, 2K TV will become the mainstream in the market?
Over time this will probably happen, but today it's a very small niche, but it shows the potential of liquid crystal, and I'm convinced, as we see an example of 4K, 2K, that there is more innovation to come, that the quality, the brilliance, the transmission, everything what counts will further evolve, that there is still a huge need for innovation in the display industry, and by all this innovation the gap between the liquid crystal displays and the OLED becomes smaller. So it's definitely an open race which will depend how much progress the different technologies will make, and obviously how much at the end of the day also the cost differences between both technologies in the end user markets will be.
Smartphone company use OLED to make their smartphone, but someone think that it is too expensive versus other panel. How do you see that?
OLED has some significant success in smartphones, in small devices, because it's a very brilliant picture, it's very bright, and it's a different visual experience and a nice one. And you see the benefits mainly in the small devices today, because we are at a very early stage of the development curve of the OLED. So we have to learn a lot in the industry to do large screens, and with this learning we also will reduce costs of the OLED device. That they are now more expensive than the classical is a normal evolutionary trend which you have with every new technology, but this will disappear over time.
And how do you see the global economy this year?
Overall, Europe will be weak. So we have the euro crisis, we don't see a solution there on the short term. US seems to be okay, but nobody can really predict the consequences of the fiscal cliff yet. So this is also a watch out. What we still believe is that the emerging markets, especially Asia, will grow. We see this grow, but also with small watch outs, like for example the latest growth figures of China, whereas the GDP growth with 7.7 is of course perfect, especially compared with growth rates in Europe and US. But if you look, for example, in the energy consumption in March, there was only a 2.5% growth, and maybe the energy consumption is a better indicator for industrial production. So it's a watch out, but overall we are optimistic that we will see growth in emerging markets, also in the US, which will compensate the weakness in Europe.
Thank you, Reckmann. 面板技术越来越先进，加上手机和电视日新月异，也成为支撑成长的动力来源。面板业经过了许久的低谷，就盼今年能够春暖花开。